Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live from Mindset Monday. Hope everyone had a great Easter. Happy Easter. Nice to always reflect what it's about, right? Um, Nice to spend some time with family, and yeah. So Easter was great.
That's good. Awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was good. Went to church. Kind of saw my neighbor there. It's kind of cool, like going to church, seeing your neighbor. I didn't know they went there. I didn't know they even went to the same church. So that was nice. Um, and,
Create a commonality.
what happened?
Create a commonality now, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then you reflect on what Easter is about, him rising and defeating death. It's a great holiday. So let's talk a little bit. Dave, me and Dave were rapping before we came on here, and Dave had some pretty good insight into, hey, we're going to go through step by step how to develop discipline. Right. What can you do to develop discipline? And by the way, guys, as you develop discipline, you also build crazy amounts of momentum. They go hand in hand. It's funny how that works. So, Dave, what do you got for us?
Yeah, and I'll add one extra word in there. You start to develop habits, right? These things become a part of your life, and you do things long enough. It takes discipline, creates momentum, and puts in long enough to create habits, right? They say 21 days creates a habit. I think it takes longer than that. I think a good 3 to 6 months it takes. But guys, let's get back in here, right? Discipline. Something Jonathan and I always talk about. We talk about discipline, whether it's the mindset, whether it's on the financial side, right? Discipline. It takes discipline to start saving money, to do those rules on the side to put away for investing. It starts discipline in your mindset to go to that next level in business. Shit, man, to even start a business, right? Like, let's dumb this down even further. But how do you start it? How do you get really down to the beginning of discipline? And I'll give you some examples for me. One of the first things to do in discipline or creating discipline is to do something you've never done before. I mean, that's to me, that's kind of common sense, because if you're always doing the same stuff all the time, you wake up the same, you get dressed the same, you eat the same thing. It's all the same stuff. You're not really going to build something by doing the same thing. You got to do something different. You have to do something that's going to make you a little uncomfortable, something that's going to stretch that feeling, right? And the first thing that I did was I started waking up earlier. I've never ever been a morning person per se in my entire life until probably about the last 6 or 7 years. And I probably take that a little more extreme over the last 4 to get up super, super early. Why? Because not only is it uncomfortable, it also to this current day and time works for me. So what I would do is I would start that with a half hour. A half hour is pretty doable, right? Do that for about the first week or two, get your body used to it, and then shoot that to another half hour, right? An hour early. An hour early makes a load of difference. If you're just basing this on 5 days a week, that's an extra 5 hours. Okay. Now I'm going to hear some people say, oh, what about losing that extra hour of sleep? Or do I go to bed early? Listen, don't worry about that. Okay. Your body's going to adjust, and I'm telling you right now, it's not really going to matter down the road, right? You can worry about going to bed early. You're going to audit your time more, and I'm going to talk about that as well. You're going to audit your time more to see where you're wasting it at night, sitting up late, scrolling on your phone, doing absolutely nothing because nobody's awake, right? There's better ways to do that. But guys, that extra hour, which turned into me, believe it or not, turned into an extra 4 hours, right? I used to wake up at 8, then it turned to 7, then it turned to 6, then it turned to 5, and now it's to 4, right? That alarm goes off, and that 4 o'clock alarm has been going off since 2021, right? And I'm not saying this because, I'm some psychopath or I'm some Goggins wannabe or something. That is what works for me based on my schedule and my wife's schedule. I'm not telling you have to wake up at 4, but again, audit that. It is uncomfortable. It sucks, right? There's still to this day nothing fun about it. Okay. But now what do you do with that extra time? For me, it's dialing in, number one, some faith in the morning, some prayer, meditation, and getting my morning right for the gym. Okay. That's the first thing in discipline. When I started creating those movements and those tasks, 75 hard did help, but this isn't a push on 75 hard. But when you're creating new uncomfortable events or things to do in your life, You're going to create that momentum. As Jonathan said, it's going to start creating momentum. It's going to start turning into habits, right? Your body's going to get in shape better. Your mind's going to get sharper. You're going to look for more things to do uncomfortable. And that's where it starts. That waking up early created more time, right? 20 hours a week, basically, because I was going to bed late at that time. But now let's talk about that on the flip side, right? Maybe you do want to go to bed earlier. You probably should, because we're humans, man. We need sleep. You're going to run your ass into the ground, but audit that time, right? Audit the time in the morning, but equally as important at night. What are you doing when the kids go down to bed? What are you doing after your wife's getting ready to go to bed? Are you maximizing that time to even go to bed early? Well, what worked for me was audit the next day. Okay. If I'm waking up at 4, I know what I'm going to do in those first 4 hours, but what am I doing in the next time? Right? What are those habits and disciplines that I got to put in? Okay. I know I got to do this, and this from 9 till 6, and then everything else after, just to kind of generalize, not to get too crazy in depth to it. But no, it always starts with doing that one uncomfortable thing. And I always believe waking up early is that one separator that starts everything. I don't think there's anything else on the surface that you could do is besides waking up early. I think it's the ultimate best thing to do. What are your thoughts on that? What do you got?
I enjoy waking up early, but it depends because of how my day is scheduled, right? So the truth be told, there are some times that I have stuff that I know is just going to run very, very late, whether it's hockey for me or hockey for my son. And if that is the case, and I'm not getting in till 9, I'm not going to bed till 10, 10:30, 11. So not going to sleep till whatever, 12. There's times I don't get home till like 1 or 12:30 from hockey. So on those days, obviously I have to adjust. I think having the flexibility to adjust, and this is not as easy because I also like to wake up early, but I'm not going to be waking up at 4. Like I will get up 5, anywhere between 5 and 7. Okay. Between 5 and 7, I can knock out everything I need to do in the morning. Still get to the office on time. And my day is very, very structured once I'm in the office. So I kind of know what I have to do, how I have to do it, and how I approach it. I do like incorporating the power list, making sure certain things get done, especially larger things when I'm working on money or multiple different projects at once. But waking up early, I think I agree with you, is a huge indicator. It does help. And I like knowing that I'm getting a lot of my stuff accomplished when other people are sleeping. I would not wake up early at the expense of my own personal sleep, sleep schedule, right? The sleep is very, very important. So you got to kind of balance it out. What time are you getting in versus what time can you wake up? But ideally, if I could be usually in bed between 9 and 10 or earlier and be up at 5 or 6, I think that's really, really solid. It allows me to get done everything, or for the most part, everything I need to get done.
Right. And look, like, these things can change too. It doesn't have to last forever. I know as my kids get older and a little more independent, and hopefully count on them to do things in the morning to get themselves ready for school and stuff, that will change. It's that a lot has to do with it's structured around your family and your own lifestyles. And, my wife's a teacher, right? She's out early. So, it's not going to last forever either. And I think you're right, man. Like, you do have to obviously take care of your body as we were alluding to earlier. But I also think you are going to have those one-off times where, you're structured. You're going to be out late. That works for you, or later, right? So you're awake later in the morning, but you're still maximizing your day, right?
Yeah.
But I think on the flip side, you are going to get those one times. You go out to an event or something. Last Thursday, we were pretty smoked from going out to a pretty big local event here. Got home pretty late, and it's like, oh shit, man, we've been up way too late. Yeah, it sucks waking up the next morning. But but understand you're gonna have those days too. It's not this isn't gonna be perfect, guys. It's not gonna be perfect in the beginning. It's gonna take some time to really dial it in, to get the habit in, and to really get this thing rolling right. You talked about the power list. I think it's huge. If you don't have any list going into that day, that's why when you take it, for me, I take at night, evaluate my day. I also find this weird too. It's super huge to have a game plan going in, have something written down. I see dudes at the gym all the time walking around aimlessly. It's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do next? All right, I'm gonna work here. And listen, lo and behold, I used to be that guy. I knew what I was gonna do a couple times, but then if somebody had a machine on, right, and I didn't have a backup plan or something written down, then it threw off my whole workout. But you also track results too, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. If you're marking these lists down, did you tackle that task? Was it a win? Did you hit it? Right? Okay, now I know it's again, let's create that other list. What can I do differently the next day as well to create more discipline? You know, that makes sense?
100%. All right, guys. Well, listen, you guys heard it here. Tune in, get ready for Financial Fitness Friday, and share this with someone that needs to hear it. We appreciate you guys. Take care.
Be great, y'all.
Bam,